we could please have the three candidates for position or zone 1 positions up front here.
How are we doing? 1, 2, 3, or?
We're using some fancy technology tonight, so as soon as we're ready over here, we'll get started. My name's Aaron. I will be your facilitator tonight. Thanks for coming. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We've got the flag right behind you there. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. We are going to have each candidate do a quick introduction. Then we're going to get into your questions. We've had some submitted ahead of time, and it's not too late to get your questions in. And then each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. And we've got a timer for that, so we'll keep on track. And we'll have you go ahead and introduce yourself first.
Hi, my name is Alan Immel. I'm running low on sleep. My wife just had a baby last week, so I will probably be reading this. I'm running for the position of school board trustee for Upriver Zone 1. My name will be on the November 4th ballot. If you can make an effort to let your voice be heard, we appreciate the vote. You will also see, well, I'll just skip down. I grew up in the Benawa. I went to Hayburn Elementary, graduated from St. Mary's High School in 2006. I started work in the woods right after graduating for the Forest Service, and that was under Mary Price for 8 years. After that, I started working for Northwest Management, and I worked for them until 2018, also forestry related. My current job is grounds manager at a private estate outside of Coeur d'Alene. I normally try to keep to myself and spend most of my time with my family and my 4 kids. I have 2 of my kids here with my mom. I do try to be involved in a few community things. Some things that I am a part of, I'm very active in the Amida Community Church. And I am currently in my 2nd term as Republican committeeman for Amida. And I also sit as the Republican Youth Committeeman for the Benawa, for the Republican Committee. In this community, I've been a part of Joy Club that used to meet over at the Upriver Church here, helped lead that. I also helped do gym jams in the school here, giving the youth opportunities to get out and exercise and good events. I was a volunteer for the EMT in the Fernwood ambulance. I am running to give you guys a choice. I care deeply about this community.
Hi, I'm Beth Halverson, and I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. And for those that are watching at home, thank you very much if you're watching live or recorded. My husband and I moved here 30 years ago in November. We have lived in the same home upriver. We raised our 3 children here. And currently, I have 11 extremely adorable reasons why I want to be trustee again. They age between 2 months old and 9 years old. and the 6 oldest are currently enrolled in Hayburn Elementary, with 5 more to come. I'm a lucky Grammy. I get them all here local. Over the past 30 years, I've been extremely active in our community in many ways. Volunteering at the Upriver Saddle Club in many officer positions, royalty advisor, show secretary. I've also been active in 4-H. I was a 4-H leader for 11 years as my children were growing up. Also in the Upriver area, years ago, I was part of the University of Idaho Horizons program. I was a local group facilitator. That led into our current the Upriver Communities United organization. And I have worked very hard over the past 4 years as trustee, and I wish to continue to make advancements in policies, and as you'll hear later tonight, we'll go into more and more detail on those specific things. But that's a little bit about me.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Shinus. I've been a member of this community for over 20 years. I've raised, almost finished raising 4 children. I have a 17-year-old at home still. And I've been a 4-H leader, and I'm a nurse practitioner. I do some functional medicine. In addition to family practice, I've had a business in this community for many years now. And initially I was running for this position for Zone 1 until I had the opportunity to meet and spend some time with Alan Immel, at which time I did attempt to withdraw my candidacy, but I did miss the deadline, unfortunately, because I am a working member and could not make it to St. Mary's before the 5 o'clock deadline. So I am actually here today to offer my support to Alan Immel and to answer any questions. I've become very active in the school board at the point in time when they started, our school districts, I felt like, started making curriculum choices, which I did not support for my children. At that point in time, I did move my children to homeschool. So since 8th grade, my youngest has been homeschooled because I like to have control of that curriculum and have input on some of these things that are being brought into schools to influence our children. So my goal with being here and with being involved in many school board meetings, which you've probably seen if you've watched meetings, is to advocate for those kind of values being in place in our schools here, because the children of this community matter in addition to my children. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. So I've randomized the order that the questions will be asked. I'll ask the questions in the order they're stacked up here for me, and I'll submit it tonight. So we've got another one there. It's not too late to get them in. If we don't get to it, we'll have contact information. You're welcome to reach out to these candidates directly. So first question, we're going to start with Amy to answer. And the question is, do you currently have school-age children or grandchildren age 5 or older enrolled in District 41 as students? You've got 2 minutes.
So I do have a 17-year-old high school student who is actually currently enrolled in Overture and is being homeschooled. So he's not enrolled in this district. In the past, though, I have had 4 children who have been enrolled in School District 41.
Beth,
We have 2 minutes.
you have 2 minutes to answer that question.
I raised 3 children who all attended and are alumni of St. Mary's School District. And currently, like I already told you, I have 11 grandchildren who are either in school or headed for District 41. Our nation faces a crisis in public education with destructive woke ideologies and limitations on parental rights, on how their children are to be educated. And 5 years ago, I decided that I needed to help protect my grandchildren who were headed for school. And so I ran for school board trustee. I always knew I would at some point. And I have worked over the past 4 years very hard to improve those areas and to protect our children. I have worked on curriculum committees. I have helped write library policies that have been, we didn't have a library policy, and I helped write that and protect our children against learning materials in curriculum form and literature form throughout our school district. I have also worked very hard in supporting school safety programs and enhancements to our safety for our children to protect them. So when I say I have 11 grandchildren in the school district, I have skin in the game as deep as my bone marrow. And I wish to continue to do the work that I have been doing over the past 4 years. Our district has a reputation of being unapproachable, and we have worked extremely hard in the last 2.5 years under our current leadership to improve in many areas. Our technology is one of them, to make ourselves transparent and available. We have included and encouraged staff members, teachers, parents, and students to attend all of our activities.
I'm good. My oldest is not yet in school. They will be upcoming. So no, I don't have any kids in school. However, I am very vested in the youth of this community, and I have been since a young age. Getting out of high school, volunteering at many youth events at the Upriver Fernwood Church here, doing, like I said, Joy Club, which would meet once a week. Kids from this school would on a bus and go right over there, and I was the leader of the main message for that, which was promoting, teaching them about the Bible, about good morals, about Christ's life. I was also a part of gym jams, like I said here, with Dave Atchison. We would open up the gym, and we'd give the Fernwood community a place to go play basketball or whatever. We'd provide meals, and also a small message about character development and things like that. I was also a part of Bible quizzing at my church for like 6 to 8-ish years. One of the coaches there, also with Dave Atchison, and we took kids to locally, regionally, and we had people go to nationals, and I believe 2 of them placed within the top 10 for Bible quizzing, and that was the youth. So I am very invested in the youth. I care about them a lot. I care about my kids. So you don't have to have a student in the school to care about the kids and watch out for woke policies, DEI, critical race theory. You don't have to have kids to watch out for that. And my position in the Republican committee, I have a unique perspective where I am familiar with that stuff and the verbiage and how it slipped in, and I can be a safeguard to protect this community from those things getting into this community. Thank you.
Okay, this next question is, as a school board trustee, how will you ensure that your decisions are guided by independent judgment and objective facts rather than by pressure from individuals or special interest groups while keeping the educational welfare of all students as your top priority? Those are 2 board member codes of ethics, and this question goes to Beth first.
Can you repeat that question again? There's a lot in there
As
to
a
unpack.
school board trustee, how will you ensure that your decisions are guided by independent judgment and objective facts rather than by pressure from individuals or special interest groups while keeping the educational welfare of all students as your top priority?
Oh, that's easy. I always think independently. I don't listen to assumptions and half-truths and accusations. I try to find out all of the facts before I make decisions. Our board works very independently. We work as a team. We collect information from the sources that are necessary The business of education has so much law involved in it that it is very important to always seek out the correct information using all tools available to stay compliant with the laws that we are required by federal law and state law. I have never felt influenced by any person or group in the 4 years that I've been working with the school board. I know that has been mentioned a few times that we are influenced by different organizations. That's just simply not true. It is simply not true. I have personally kept my eye open and caught things. There was an accusation that we have a very large federal grant that was awarded to our school district. And there was a section in it that had diversity, equity, and inclusion in it. I worked very hard to point that out and to require that we rewrite that entire section. And we did it, even at the risk of losing that grant. And we didn't lose the grant, and we saved this county taxpayers millions and millions of dollars for our facilities that needed to be repaired and maintained. The idea of being influenced is so foreign to me. We think on our own. I think on my own, with my own information, my own investigation.
I'm good. I am always a very independent thinker, against the grain. I'm not afraid of conflict. I don't seek out conflict for sure, but I am not intimidated by conflict. The first thing I would do is I would actually not sign the ISBA paper that the school board members signed the very first night that they joined, because I don't have to legally. And I feel that the ISBA may provide good legal counsel, but it also divides, I think, loyalty of the board members with the community. And my loyalty is to first the community, not ISBA or the teachers union, is to the community. So it's simple. I look at the Constitution because I swear an oath to that, the Idaho Constitution because I swear an oath to that, and I listen to my constituents, and if they have issues, I listen, and we work with that. Nobody else. We don't need anybody else. It's this community, it's our schools, and we can take policies and stuff, but we don't need those other organizations to run our schools. Thank you.
So the first part of the question is how would I ensure independent judgment? You know, I believe that all legitimate government stems from those who are governed, and that all taxpayers in this community are stakeholders in the schools and the school board. As far as using objective facts, being a nurse practitioner and really basing my whole practice on evidence-based practice, I use research in the basis of everything in my daily life, including decisions I make outside of my nursing practice. I am definitely an independent thinker who is very unlikely to be influenced by somebody else. If any of you know me or have heard any of my speeches at the school board meetings, I'm certain you're fully aware of that. As far as making the educational welfare of the students our first priority, I absolutely believe that removing the ISBA, which is a liberal organization and is very deeply involved in the rewriting of the policies in this school district currently, should be removed from the business of our school district. And I believe by doing that, we would ensure the educational welfare of our students. and that would become a priority. And we would be taking the tax bill for our community supporting the ISBA away.
Okay. Our next question is, do you support the concealed weapon policy? And if so, why? We each have 2 minutes, and the first person to answer that is Alan.
Yes. Protection of the kids is important. And I don't even think that's controversial on the current board. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, school shootings are going up in number, and protection of the kids is very important. And I might be missing something, but I actually think the school board has currently done a good job with that. But let me know if you disagree with that.
As many of you probably know, I was one of the original people that brought that to the school board as a possibility. I brought that to the school board because of an incident that happened in the school, and I was actually concerned for my child's safety and actually removed my child from school for a period of time related to those concerns. And there were choices made that I felt like put the safety of my student, my son, and many other students at risk. And in that situation, I thought, boy, I'd sure love to have a teacher who is well-trained, be able to carry a firearm to be able to protect these children. So yes, I am absolutely in support of the current policy.
Yes, I also am in favor, and I was a board member who did vote in favor of the enhanced concealed carry policy with our school district. I was a substitute teacher for 18 years in every building of this school and in every classroom and in every grade, from preschool to special ed and every other grade. I've seen the facilities, I've seen their weaknesses, and the concealed carry weapon policy is only a part of what needs to be to enhance the safety of our school entirety. Hardening our schools, having locks on the doors. We've contracted with a group called Panacea, which is coming in and consulting over the next 3 years to teach our staff and our students, and also to have parental meetings, to create an atmosphere and a culture of safety and understanding so that our children aren't just, a gun is never going to be just the one answer. It is a tool in the many layered aspects of safety in our schools, and we are working hard and have made many advances and many changes in our schools, and will be continuing. For people who haven't been in our buildings in a few years, when you go to enter, it's a whole lot different than it was 10 years ago in each and every building, and there are plans for that to continue. So yes, safety is one of the primary issues. And as someone who has worked in every school building and every school classroom, I know where a lot of those weaknesses are. And I have used that knowledge to help encourage the safety and changes in the hardening of our schools so that it makes it more difficult for threats to come in. And yes, safety is by far one of my priorities.
Our next question, thank you, is name 2 positive things you would support that the current board has done or instated. And that one goes to Amy first.
Can you please repeat that question?
Name 2 positive things you would support that the current board has done or instated.
That's a fairly easy response for me. One, obviously, we just discussed, which was the concealed carry for teachers. And the The second would be the opt-in policy, which I helped, along with a group of other parents, to institute. The opt-in policy means that parents have to physically sign something saying they agree for their children to be exposed to controversial subjects in the school setting. I recently actually had to become re-involved with that because there was a new policy trying to be updated with wording handed to the school district by the ISBA that was an attempt to change that opt-in policy. And I actually was instrumental in writing the policy that replaced that policy to keep the opt-in policy in place. So those are two of the policies.
Thank you. Beth?
I don't even really know where to begin on that one because there are so many positive things that we have done. This board has been amazingly effective in being able to improve things throughout our district. The gun policy. My personal favorite and the one that I was most involved with, I'll explain a little bit more in detail. I discovered there was no library policy in our school, and we didn't have any way to protect harmful materials from coming in either through curriculum or into library to reach our children. And that is one of the kind of slipperiest ways that harmful ideologies are reaching our children today. I worked very hard at writing that policy, and it along with also being in the math curriculum committee. I had them also include in that curriculum committee another math program, which we ended up adopting. It came from, some of you may be aware of it, the Hillsdale College K-12 program, Singapore Dimensions Math. It wasn't really well known, but after discovering it and bringing it into our selection pool, it was overwhelmingly supported by teachers and our curriculum committee. Our safety program, gosh, there's just so many.
It's actually the same as Amy. The concealed carry I thought was a very good policy to enact, and I like the concept of giving teachers the option to carry after going through certain training, and it's not known who carries. I thought that was very wise because the bad guys, they don't know who's carrying, but they do know that our district carries. And that will deter all sorts of bad characters. I'm a little concerned with that though, because they seem to also be pushing some security cameras, and we're such a surveillance culture. I'm not a fan of all the surveillance on kids. All of our facial recognition is being stored, and I'm a little concerned about that. But the rest of the safety stuff made a lot of sense to me, and I appreciate that. And then also the opt-in was a very good policy because that allows, I remember when I was in high school, it was the opposite of that, where the parent has to say, no, my child will not be a part of sex ed. And if the kid doesn't take that slip home, then hey, that kid can be in sex ed. Instead, it's an opt-out, which means the opposite of that. The parent has to send in a slip saying, yes, they can be a part of this. And I think it takes the control out of the kid. It gives control back to the parents of what their children are allowed to view or see or hear.
Now our next question, what is the single most important issue facing our school district, and how would you address it? And that one goes to Beth first.
There's actually two. This discipline issues in our school today nationwide. It's a cultural problem, and schools have to face it. And it's been an issue for years and years. It came to a time when we had our children here upriver, and my husband and I actually withdrew our children from the district for 2 years because parents weren't being listened to. And it was behaviorally driven. But I realized that here in St. Mary's, our public school system is paramount importance. And so when I came on the board, parental rights became a focal point for me. And we began to review all of our parental rights policies and reinforcing them, making them more transparent, giving parents a voice, and listening and working on behavioral issues in our schools. Upriver School here, over the last 3 years, has been working so hard at improving our behavioral. I believe Principal Blackwell said that we had over 500 behavioral incidents 3 years ago. We have gotten that down to under 200. That is a 65% decrease in behavioral incidents in our school, from minor to to anything up a little bit more severe. But our district is working hard in every school to create a better environment for learning in that area. The other area is in funding, and hopefully I'll get more time to talk about that, but funding from the Idaho State.
That's a good question. I kind of feel like the schools have lost why we even have public schools. I want to read out of the Idaho Constitution, Article 9, Section 1. It's on education and school lands. Section 1, legislator to establish system of free schools. That's the heading. The stability of Republican form of government, depending mainly upon the intellect of the people, it shall be the duty of the legislator of Idaho to establish and maintain a general, uniform, and thorough system of public free common schools. In Idaho, we pay for our schools so that the students understand we live in a republic and where our God-given rights come from. And I don't know that a lot of students even know we live in a republic, constitutional republic. They probably would say we live in a democracy or something like that. Where's civics in the schools? Where's the Constitution? Where's our basics, our fundamentals? Where's U.S. history? Social studies is great, but let's get back to the basics of this, of what this America stands for, or we're going to lose it. But also, education in general, reading, writing, and arithmetic is not very high in the U.S. It's pretty low. And we spend more money per student than most countries for our education, and we don't get the results for the money we spend on that. So there's something fundamentally wrong, and I think we need to maybe think about a different solution. And
I would say the single most important issue within our school district is the curriculum. DEI and SEL are deeply entrenched in much of the curriculum that's being used in our schools. They both support an equity basis, which in my mind is a lowering of standards and is not merit-based. It sets lower standards and creates division. We need to get back to an equality-based education where students have equal opportunity and same resources for all. DEI stands for diversity, equity, inclusion, but it creates an environment focused on differences, and it is designed to prepare these children for a globalized world. personally am not in support of that and do not think that I want to see those kind of initiatives being pushed on the children in our school district. Social emotional learning diverts resources from traditional academics. It creates subjective rather than objective assessments, which creates room for bias. And it introduces topics such as gender identity and critical race theory. And it also is inclusive with data collection, which is a privacy risk for our students and families. Alan already touched bases on that to some extent. A lot of these entities in our curriculum are found hidden in the teachers' materials and in computer-based resources that parents do not have access to. And I think parents should have access to all curriculum that's being presented to their children. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, been touched on by a couple of the candidates, is what is your opinion of ISBA, which is the Idaho School Board Association, is that correct? And this one goes to Alan first. You've got 2 minutes.
Idaho School Board of Association is a independent organization. They are not the Idaho, it's not a government organization. It's used to look into legislator and write policies, and it's a tool for the board members. And that's all it is a tool for the board members. But in the ISBA, you find a lot of wokeism, DEI. In fact, I was one of the guys who is a part of ISB, I'm trying to remember his name, Dr. Phil Gore. He talked about diversity, inclusion, DEI, and he's like, what's wrong with DEI? I don't get it. It just became like a trigger word and everybody's against it now. And this is one of the people that are leading it. If you want the podcast, I can get that to you. It's done by the Ranch Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's easy to find. It's an organization that I don't think we need to be a part of. There are other people. There are private schools that write policies. We don't have to use the ISBA.
Thank you. Get my timers open back up here. Next up is Amy for that one.
Well, I probably have already stated some of my opinion on the ISBA, but I think the ISBA is confusing initially to parents and community members because it sounds like it is a state-run school board association, but it's not. Again, it is an independent agency, like Alan stated there. And it really is a legislative advocacy group. It's not an education organization. It is there to advocate for DEI and SEL to be ingrained into our school systems and into our students' minds. They are rewriting and providing the blanket policies that our school district is currently going through. For example, the library policy that Beth speaks of, the initial policy that was handed to the board as well as the parents, included verbiage that would make sex and other controversial topic books available to even very young children. And that policy was initiated and submitted to this district by the ISBA. I think we need this organization out of our school district so that we can support policy decisions that are in agreement with the values of this community. Thank you.
Thank you. And Beth.
I would love to say I support both of you in everything that you say because I do if it was true. The Idaho School Board Association is a 501c3. Yes, it's independent. No, it's not a state organization. It's a professional association. We have the Loggers Association. We have many organizations, or associations for different professional organizations. ISBA specifically stating on the policies that come to us. They come to us with statutory and legal requirements in them. But every single policy that comes to us is a format, it's a boilerplate. And every district in this state has different needs, different requirements to fit their culture and to fit their communities. And that's our job as board members, to listen to our communities and to realize our values, our conservative traditional values in St. Mary's. And everything that comes through and gets passed has gone through a grid of just that. Every policy, Amy makes it sound like they force a policy down on us and we have to accept it. Absolutely not. They even encourage every single district to formulate each policy to fit their own community. We do not do what ISBA tells us to do. They have to listen to us. They work for us. We don't work for them. They do not, it's just simply not true. And I've been here for 3.5 years working hard and listening to this and looking for it and watching for it, and it's not there.
Thank you. Now our next question is, what do you think about the House program that promotes witchcraft? And that is going to Amy first. Got 2 minutes.
Well, the first thing I have to say is that I probably have not had the opportunity to research this program that you're speaking of. I am familiar with the fact that it is being introduced to the schools here, but I have not had the time or taken the time to do a deep enough level of research that I feel comfortable commenting on that specifically at this point in time. But I do know some of the basics from that program, and that it is very deeply entrenched in DEI and SEL, and those are both things that I disagree with. So I would definitely love to learn more about the program, but I, on the basis of the DEI and SEL, I would have to say that I would likely not be in support of that program.
Okay. I have a, come on, technology. Oh, right, you know? Okay, so there was a letter to the editor in the paper that many people have read. So, and the board decided to respond back to it. So I'm going to read it simply off of the letter that we as a board wrote into the paper this past week. Harry Potter books, not part of initiative. First and foremost, the St. Mary's School Board thanks the community members for being concerned and involved in our school system. Recently, a patron wrote a letter to the editor of the Gazette-Record addressed to the school board. We would like to clarify that Harry Potter books are not being used in our elementary classrooms as part of an anti-bullying initiative. District 41 has introduced a new traditional leadership training program called the House System, which has been used in school systems as far back as the 1800s and has nothing to do with the modern fictional book series or witchcraft or spells and anything else. This type of program has demonstrated great success for over a century. It is designed to build a sense of camaraderie with classmates, schoolmates, and staff at their school. Its aim is to develop leadership skills, positive character traits, civility, and therefore improving attendance, and should result in lower discipline disruptions and improve academics. As this is a new program, it will be monitored closely and evaluated for these desired results. Changes and modifications will be made accordingly to fit St. Mary's and Upriver schools, which is always our motto, that everything that we do is always always fed through the grid. Does it fit St. Mary's? Does it fit upriver? And no, it has nothing to do with Harry Potter.
The house system was put in place to engage students. If we need to engage them, let's just get them a bouncy house. The Ron Clark Academy is where the house system came from. Ron Clark Academy, Ron Clark himself was given the teacher award by Disney. He was endorsed by Oprah Winfrey. He went on the Survivor show, and his husband came and gave him a big old schmooze on the Survivor show there. The Ron Clark Academy bases it off a house system, which did come from the 1800s. However, it was incorporated into Harry Potter. Harry Potter has the house system, and the wheel is part of that. Do they get around and cast spells and stuff like that? No, but it's based off of it. Now, do I have the proof for that? Not really. But if you look at the Ron Clark Academy, even the cafeteria is modeled after the Hogwarts cafeteria of Harry Potter. They have dragons all over the place. I'd encourage you to look at the Ron Clark Academy, because that's where this stems from. So the community needs to decide whether that's something they want in their community or not. Let's hear from you guys. Personally, I think there is some witchcraft tied to it in the origins, but I have not looked into it far enough to confirm that myself. But I've looked into it enough to be concerned. And we're not the first people that recognize this. Schools that support this recognize that Ron Clark got his house system from Harry Potter.
Well, that is all the time we have for the questions. We're going to give each candidate final 2 minutes to wrap up and summarize why you think they deserve your vote. And looks like Beth is up first on this one.
I am?
Yes.
Well, all right. Quite simply, I'm the best candidate for the position. I bring with it many qualifications. I have a BA in business administration. I was a bookkeeper for 31 and a half years with my husband and business partner with a State Farm insurance agency before retiring this past July. I've been a substitute teacher in this district. I worked for 18 years, as previously described. I also was a volunteer as a client advocate at Plus Care Network, a pro-life pregnancy clinic in Moscow for 5 years. And I've already been a school board trustee for nearly 4 years. My conservative traditional Christian morals and values inspire me in ways to protect and drive me to protect the morality and encourage positive character traits in our students, to become well-educated and productive citizens in our community. I'm committed to continue to improve our school district and make it more approachable, and to continue to support enhancing parental rights, and to partner with our community to achieve a school district that reflects our community's traditional values, and to excel academically. This is what I've done for the past 3.5 years, and this is what I hope that you will all allow me to continue to do. So I respectfully request each one of you in Zone 1, because those are the only people that can vote for me, and I ask you all to come out on November 4th, or earlier. You can go to the courthouse in St. Mary's and go vote early. Beth Halverson, District 41, Zone 1, School Board Trustee. Thank you.
No, I'm the best candidate. yes, we come from different backgrounds. We have different views. So, you know, I'm leaving this one up to the voters. You vote the way that you feel. We have very differing opinions, and I think the public can answer with their vote. But we do need you at the polls. Typically, the school board vote is pretty low turnout, so make sure to get out there. I don't know. I arise to the occasion. I arise to the challenge. I will learn the school board. I have been a part of listening to the meetings and stuff. I will get better acquainted with that. Beth will probably school me on most policies and stuff, but that's because she's been in it for 4 years. I haven't been in it for 4 years. I will, and I will represent the community well. I feel like this community feels kind of left out, and I know this because I've also went to the school board meetings and tried to get my voice heard, and it seems quieted. And I would like that to change to where if parents have issues in the school or community members have issues in the school, the board members are approachable. I want to be approachable to the community and listen to you. This huge blank. I'm available. I will listen. I think there are conflicts in the schools that need to be addressed and not just swept under the rug. I feel like there are things being swept under the rug, like the volleyball coach being fired, like teachers, like parents leaving this school and having conflict with the principal. Those things need addressed. I don't know who's right, who's wrong, but they need to be brought out into light and talked about, not just ramrodded through.
Again, I am going to encourage that you support and vote for Alan. I think that we need to not just continue with the status quo. I think if we continue on the path that this community and this school system is on, this school system is going to go places that does not support the values of this community. Part of the reason this board is more open to community is because the advocacy from a community group of parents, which included Alan Immel. He has been very active in supporting and encouraging more community involvement, including these meetings being recorded and broadcasted for all in the community who, might be working members of the community that can't be here for meetings. And I do disagree to some extent, as Beth says she disagrees with me. We both have the opportunity to have some disagreement. I do disagree with the flow of how things have gone with the ISBA and policies. Yes, some of those policies have been modified, but most often when they're modified, it's with community participation and involvement, and only if we catch those items in the policies. This board is trying to review hundreds of policies in a very short period of time, and I think that we need a strong member to be part of this board that can advocate for some of these steps towards arenas we might not want our children in being pushed through the school board by the ISBA. And I think that Alan will be the candidate who can do that for you.
Well, it definitely takes courage to even put your name on the ballot for caring for your community. Let's give all these candidates a round of applause. If you have any additional questions, the contact email addresses are up here on the screen. You're welcome to take a picture of that. You're welcome to stay for the school board meeting. That should be an exciting meeting
Wait,
here.
that's wrong.
Oh,
Mine's wrong.
what is your email address, Beth?
It's B. Halverson. I don't know what you thought it said, B something.
Just B. Halverson. That's BHALVORSEN at SD41.org.
It's just B. Halverson.
Thank you for correcting that. So remember to vote November 4th. Thanks for coming.